Greetings, fellow Empyreans! I am Ashtarothi, the voice of New Eden, and it is January 20th, YC125, and this is your Eve Universe show! How's it going, guys? How's it going? Okay, so today we have a Chronicle reading that we want to try to do. However, there are two complications. Of course, as soon as I say I'm going to do something tomorrow, heaven and earth moves to ensure that I cannot. And in this case, sooner rather than later, you will hear... Maybe later. Oh. I think you can hear that. There's construction going on literally directly outside of my window. So, probably not the best conditions to record like an audio reading of the Chronicle. We might still try it, but we also have something. Well, we are going to still try it, but we will also be going over some other details that popped up. You can't really hear it? Well, it's been pretty quiet so far. I'll put it that way. Like, I could see it spike the mic earlier. So there is some stuff. And you know as well as I do, as soon as I start reading it for real, we'll start hearing bang, 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 right? Like, literally as soon. But, you know, whatever. That's fine. We'll be working on that. But in the meantime, we do have something else to go over first, which is not showing up. 1 second. Hoboleaks got updated just about 2.5 hours ago. There isn't that much added, but there is a couple of things that I wanted to show off first. Hey, what's up, Ika and LM1 and Storm and SpoonS and all you guys. Thank you guys for coming. Make sure to hit your likes and all that stuff as you settle in. So we have another new set of beacons being added. I assume that these are just going to be added to the sites as they are to help clarify some things, right? This helps it when you warp to those things. Why they would make all new ones instead of updating the old ones, I don't know, but they keep doing this. But what I find very interesting is down here. So the Vigil Fleet issue apparently erroneously still required the Geo Neuralink conduit. So that's been removed. The Capital Industrial Core 2 blueprint, which is the Rockwall Industrial Core, now actually has had its morphite requirements increase. So it went from 86 morphite to 2,500 morphite, 170 quantum microprocessors to 1250 microprocessors, 170 miniature electronics to 1250 miniature electronics, etc., etc. 1 RAM electronics to 2,500 RAM electronics, and from no carbon fiber to 2,500 carbon fiber. Meanwhile, on the large industrial core 1, we see actually a reduction of megasite from 750 to 500, a reduction of Zydrine from 1,500 to 1,000, Noxium from 3,750 to 2,500, Isogen from 2,500 to 15,000, Mexilon from 93,750 to 62,500, Pyrite from, let's say, 30,000 to 20,000, 300,000 to 200,000, and Tritanium from 2.5 million to 1.5 million. And no additional reinforced carbon fibers added at this time. So what this tells me is that they are making the Tech 1 large industrial... the large industrial core, so the Orca's BPC is cheaper. The Rockwall's is more expensive. The cheaper, or the better Orca goes from 375 miniature electronics to 250, microprocessors 375 to 250, water cooled 750 to 500, etc. So Orca cores are getting cheaper, while the Rorqual Tech 2 core is getting more expensive. Yeah. In addition to that, although interestingly enough, the Capital Industrial Core does not appear to be having its reprocessing changed at all. In addition to that, they did fix the text on the Venture and the Prospect. Nothing too serious there. There is a buff to the compact radiation sink that's making it go from 27 CPU to 25 CPU, so less fitting, 1.09 to 1.1, which is, more damage, and 0.96 to 0.95 rate of fire bonus. So they're bringing down the rate of fire bonus, bringing up the damage modifier. Why do they do that? Because the rate of fire bonus is what controls how fast you ramp. So they're making it so the compact radiation sink ramps a little bit slower, but does more raw damage to compensate for that, and takes less fitting. Okay? Likewise, the different skins are getting descriptions now, apparently. At least the ones that are being given away. And the Rex, the revelation, the different Rex of the different... I'm assuming that these are for the actual ships that we fly. But what I find most interesting is that flag all as suspect on loot rec has now been set to 0 on these things. This is a new flag that was put on the QA item a couple weeks ago that we were just talking about, that makes it so that whoever loots from it will get a suspect flag. This is saying that these Recs do not do that, but it does imply that they are still working towards making that happen somewhere, just not in the normal Recs. And we have the advantage tracker string has been changed to specify that it must be in the system, or that's what you're influencing. Some other minor corrections to like the coloring of the different information. They added in new details like telling you that the warp bubble immunity is disabled if you're using a burst jammer, including. So this is like a new tag that appears in the top left of your fitting window if you fit both an interdiction nullification module and a interdiction nullification and a burst jammer. This warning will appear up there, letting you know that that's happened, that interferes with each other. Then there's a bunch of other instructions. There's little cues. Open personal assets to see if you have the items in other locations. But then there's also these new instructions. So there's good work, Captain. Mining is a great way to earn more ISK as you improve and train new skills and unlock new ships and modules to improve your mining efficiency. So remember, when we last left the NPE, it leaves you at the industrial or the mining process, right? There's a mining section, and then it kicks you out to the career agents. Well, it looks like they have added in new reprocessing stuff. So. Welcome to the reprocessing plant, Captain. Here you can turn your raw ore into minerals by paying a tax to the station owner. Minerals can be sold on the market or used in manufacturing. The quality of minerals produced depending on the yield. This is the industry window where you can manufacture jobs and create items. So they're adding in this reprocessing and manufacturing section. It's called the CA, so Career Agents Introduction to Manufacturing is, I assume, what's happening here. Also... there is now a CA introduction to the capacitor. Captain, this is your ship's capacitor. Energy stored in your capacitor is used to power your warp drive and keep your active modules running. Different ships have different capacitor sizes and recharge times. Modules can be fitted to boost your capacitor, increase its size, or improve its recharge time. It appears some of the required minerals are missing. Missing materials can be mined or reprocessed. Alternatively, it may be faster and safer to purchase the items. Real good NPE stuff. That Gallente HQ Stargate name got snuck in here, which is interesting. Because, like, yeah, it's interesting. These are the new sites. So there's a few new things, but then also on top of that, they did update the icon for, or they added the icon for the different new AT ships. But that isn't even the interesting part to me. What's interesting is this right here: Model Structure Universal Academy. This is a new type of structure called an academy. And so I assume that this academy is tied to these reprocessing and career agent information, right? Doesn't that seem pretty likely? So it looks to me like they're going to keep playing around with that kind of thing. And then there's just there's a bunch of like the images for the front lines has been modified, or not modified, but I guess re-rendered. So there we go. That is what is on Hobo Leaks at the moment. How you guys doing, guys? So Fridays, we talked yesterday a little bit about my trying to solidify my schedule. I think that Mondays are going to be that earlier, sorry, Tuesdays are going to be that earlier time, an hour early. It's going to be the focus on mechanical instructions, hopefully. Thursday is going to be more wildcard / practical application or demonstration. And then Friday is going to be updates and lore. All right? So today is updates and lore. We don't really have very much updates, but we do have lore. Let me just triple check to make sure that we don't have a New Eden news. I think we're still at... Yep, the Intaki Stargate is the last thing to have happened. But yeah. How you guys been? I want to give everybody a few more minutes to get in here before I bring in the Chronicle reading. Let me run an ad real quick for those of you loyalists that are here. Also, less than a third of you have liked so far. Tisk tisk. Tisk tisk. Real quick, let me also check before we jump into anything. I want to just see if there's anything else I may not have gotten straightened out. This morning, I did spend most of my morning attempting to finish editing or get work done on the welcome back video. It's almost done. I've made it to the Triglavian section. I just went to Reddit to see if there's anything going on, and it's just the Fire Coalition thing. Apparently, the structure in Pokvin got repaired, so that still needs to get fixed. The Skarkon Fortizar needs to die. Wait. Our little buddy's here. Hold on, where is he? There he is. Hi, little buddy. I could hear him. I swear to God, this is the cleanest hallway in all of Eve, right? Like, I never see anybody walk down it. I never see any dirt pile up on it. I never see anything that's going to make it messy. And yet, every 10 minutes or so, this bot comes and re-scrubs the floor. This is the cleanest hangar in Eve. The wall Eve? Nice. Eva. finally Friday. Had a busy couple weeks at work. Well, I could say that I had busy days at work, but I guess y'all might know better. Yeah, there's different little random things, and during New Year's, that little dude would come out and shoot up fireworks too. It was pretty cool. Oh, dude, that's my Harbinger up there. There's my Tristan. There's my Algos. Anything back there? Nope, nothing there. Oh, there's my Vexer. It even has the correct skin. That's so freaking cool. And there's the Proteus. I bet you heard at least some of that. An overview of the Ashirashi ships from afar to right at the dock. Well, check it out. Like, I can go... I can open this up, and I can go, okay, well, let's get in the Proteus. And the camera will actually move to where the Proteus is. And now I can look down here. Well, I guess my pod is now gone because I'm not in the pod anymore. So if I had more ships, they would be appearing all around here, probably. Oh, there's the Algos. I think. Yep, that was the Algos. Isn't that cool? Okay, that's not breaking through. Good. So all of everyone's ships have their own space in the Citadel? That's generous. Well, this is your bay, right? How do you think you switched ships so quickly? Hold on, let me... Let's go grab another ship. Where am I? Oh, I'm in Naga. Oh, right. I forgot. Well, whatever. Good enough. There's a lot of angry people here. Jeez. What's the contested value right now? Yeah, I really like it. I know that there's been some people that have been grumbling about it, but I think that they're losers and silly. I mean, that's a lot of squids in here for them to be making no real progress. That's really cool. Where is... What's funny is, so now that I've docked and undocked, does that put them in different places? It does, because that Harbinger is where the Proteus used to be. So... There we go. There we go. Now you can tell I'm not joking. All right. Oh, there's stuff up there too. Hold on. Can I zoom out enough? No. All right, I need a better angle then, I guess. Let's get in the Harbinger, I suppose. This is the stream today, guys. Watch Ash play around in his hangar. Oh man, it switched the Harbinger over here. Uh-oh. It did the bug thing. Did it? Maybe not. If you do it wrong, or if you do it right, I guess, you can actually make it so that it's like both of them together. Wait a minute. Hold up. So I've got one there and one here. That's better. Look at all those empty hangars that I could have ships in. Well, now where's my Proteus? There it is. Right? Yeah, there's the Proteus. Alright. I'm still waiting for the rework of the NPC docs. I don't know whether or not they're going to do... Excuse me. I don't know whether or not they're going to do... NPC docs. Like, these are so Upwell branded that it might just be an Upwell thing. I think that they should do it to Jita. We'll see. It depends on how well they can crank these things out. Oh, dude, check it out. There's like things going on down there. Hold up. What's going on down there? Hey, look, it's one of those little bot things. They're putting up new gutters. That's the problem. So it's not like I want to be... I can't really complain about it too much. There are people that are going to be joining the chat right now and be like, oh man, I can't wait to hear this Chronicle I've heard so much about. Come in here and be like, what the is he doing? Inventar ship's leaking again. Oh. They're doing the thing where the ship keeps appearing in the same spot rather than moving to a different one. Okay. But over there, there's my apps. There's the Harbinger over there. It keeps... Uh-oh. I did it. I did the thing with the bug. There we go. This is how SOCT ships are designed. Why would you need gutters inside? Wait, what? What is this monstrosity? It's a Vexinger. The Vexinger. Incredibly powerful lasers, high resistance, and drones. I want it. Hold on. I can do this one better. Oh no, hold on. Now I don't actually know whether or not I can do it one better. Hold on. Let's see if I can keep the bug going. No, it fixed itself. Because like if I go here and I go spirit skin on this, then I unify them. Can I do that? Can we do that? Can we do that? Is it gonna work? It's gonna work! There we go. That almost looks like a ship. Now watch. I can hit undock. Oh, it doesn't go anywhere! There's no animation either. Whoopsie. Alright, well. The Vexinger. The Vexbringer. There you go. All right. And then I can redock. Oh, I'm in a different spot now. No ships down there. No ships across the way. Where's all my ships? Oh, there's the Vexer. I'm like on the upper floor now. There's the Algos. There's the Tristan. Do I have an Imicus here? I do. So there's the Imicus Navy over there. I don't have the Imicus here. I don't even remember bringing the Imicus here. Did somebody give it to me? SpoonS, did you give me an Imicus Navy issue here? It looks like Jackalope. That really seems like something that you would have given me. There's a ship over there? Looks like there should be. Can I just switch over to the Algos now? Is this going to work or is it going to bug out? It's going to work! Alright, so next to the Algos was... nothing. You did give it to me. I'm... Never understood why ships cloak when they're docking. It has to do with the fact that, like, they kind of cheated to make upwell structures work. And so making your ship cloak is like part and parcel of cleaning it up when you're docking in an upwell structure. If that makes sense. Well, then where's the Proteus? Can we find the Proteus without clicking on it? Oh yeah, it's right over there. The cartel is now really dangerous. This is Vexbringer can be a threat not only to the Capsuleers but even to Concord. Concord is the true enemy of all Empyreans. Well, you know what? I got a comment with it last night. So, I want to try something else. Tell you what, we're going to do something right now. Can I do a poll? How much are polls? Are polls a thing I can do? Can I do a poll? Are polls a thing? I don't think so. Dang it. All right, well, okay, so should I attempt to read Black Mountain in spite of the fact that there's going to be those interruptions? Or should I go run around in the back lines and try to do some faction warfare hacking? That's my question. How can you make a ship with an entropic singularity invisible? Well, because if you have a technology that can bend light around something or replicate an image of something on one side versus the other, then it really doesn't matter what the thing in the inside is that you're cloaking. I wish we could fight against Concord and reduce the security status of systems. Well, we could when the Triglavians were helping us. Do what you want to do, but faction warfare hacking is fun. I do like it when you read us a story. I know. I want to do the reading. We said we were going to do the reading. Let's do the reading. Screw it. I do want to look around a little bit more though. I want to see if there's any more of those like little events and stuff. Hey, look. There's a little dude go. I don't know. I think that this stuff is really cool. I'm also the guy that like flew around the whole outside of the structure. Like, check this out. Okay, reading. We'll do reading. So there isn't quite as much on the Asterhus as with some of the others, but I do think it's really cool. Like the kind of like there's clearly like these solar arrays here. There's like little cities and stuff on the Fortizar. The Asterhus doesn't have nearly as much cool little doodads to look at.
Docking request accepted.
Ashtarothi examines the station and his ships for 33 minutes. I mean, really, did you expect anything else? Is there more going on in a more frequented citadel? I don't know. I do know that like a refinery or an engineering complex looks different on the inside. The picture of the owner, yes. Okay. Before we begin, I want to introduce this a little bit, okay? Why am I reading this? Well, so actually, hold on. Let me see if I can find something real quick. EVE Online Chronicles 2006. CCP Abraxas? Maybe? Sorry, looking. CCP, is it Drop Bear? There's a dev blog. Ah. I'm trying to look up some of the history of this thing. I can't find it. So, in in 2006, CCP hold on. Okay. Some lore events in Eve have one problem. Such lore events close another lore. The events almost completely overshadow the background lore. I hope you understand what I mean. I would say that the background lore, like, things come and go out of the background. It's like real news, right? Like, man, where do I go without being controversial? I can't. So we'll just go with the obvious one. We know for a fact that the Russian-Ukrainian war is ongoing, right? But there can be long stretches of time in which that war doesn't breach into our consciousness, doesn't make it into our news. Maybe the election is going on, which makes it so that everybody's talking about that. Or maybe there's some other debate happening within the public sphere. And then, in a couple of weeks, maybe something will happen that causes Zelensky to be back in the news and drudge up all of that stuff. That's kind of the way that the Eve lore works, in the fact that, like, there's a lot of things that are going on in the background that don't rise to our attention very strongly at any given time. So, at any rate, back in 2007, CCP Abraxas posted this post that said about the Black Mountains Chronicles. This isn't the original one, but it is Some Dying Angel in Hyperconsciousness, which, if we go back, that would make it... He's literally right there. So even that, like, that's halfway through it. Here's Some Dying Angel. Here's Hyperconsciousness. So he refers to it. He goes, it's time that time again, it's time for a double portion. The first story is a part of our regular storyline, and in fact, a crucial part that you won't want to miss. Nothing will be the same after this. The second story is a background piece that gives you some insight into the faction that is the Society of Conscious Thought. Since it doesn't forward the Black Mountain storyline, I decided to publish it alongside a more regular story. I'll do the same for the Sisters of Eve later on. So, what is happening here? In 2006, CCP realized that they were no longer going to end the game in 2005 or 2006, like it wasn't going to die. So they needed to figure out a long-term plan for what's going to happen with the story. Enter CCP Abraxas and CCP Dropbear, who create what's known as the puzzle box. So for 4 years, they even declare this ahead of time. This was the thing that I was trying to find. Like, at the very beginning of this period of time, they say, okay, for the next 4 years, we're going to be coming out with an increased amount of Chronicles and stuff to set this thing up. And then halfway through, they're like, we're halfway through. And then at the end, they're like, this is the last one, right? In fact, I think we can find that one. Let's see, where was it? Is it Hona is 3? Might be. I think it's Hona's 3. No, it's Book of Emptiness. No? Bah! Alright. Whatever. At some point, they were like, okay, well, this is the end of this series, right? So there was a bunch of Chronicles that were semi-planned out ahead of time to kind of play out this story. And at the apex of this 4-year window was, thanks. After Black Mountain is done, March or April of 2008, I'll probably go back to a regular self-contained Chronicles. It's fun to do a serial novella every now and then for variety's sake. But all of this was attached to the release of Apocrypha and the Sleepers and all that kind of stuff. So The Chronicles that came out during that 4-year window of time are supposedly very important to that time period, or to understanding what the hell's going on. There's all kinds of little clues and weird things and mysteries and pieces of the mystery that's in these stories. Obviously, the Vitruz project and the World on Fire series are more direct, but this, excuse me, the Black Mountain series is kind of this longer chronicle set that more or less kicks off that whole chain of chronicles, but at the same time, no one ever talks about it and nobody ever reads them. So that's why I wanted to go through them. There's lots of them. There's several of them in the story. I've actually never read these before. So what I want to do is I want to do a reading, and we'll try to get to the end and then do some analysis. But I will... Wow, excuse me. We might stop to do some analysis, or I might have some reactions to it. It's going to be a little bit more freeform. Also, there's construction outside, so if you hear that, that's what happened. Let's just jump into it. The first chronicle, published in 2007, August 27th, Black Mountain on This Earth. That's the first one, right? Yes. As the inspector was leaving her apartment, he said, "Now, you'll be sure to report anything suspicious. If there really is someone in this facility causing problems, we need to catch him before the pirates do." "I will, I promise," Atira said. She saw the man out, closed the door behind him, and rested her forehead against its cool steel with a sigh. A lot of off-ship pirates have been disappearing in this area. And while this development was little bother for the corporate forces who paid for the colonial crime monitoring, it was starting to draw the ire of the pirate factions, who had threatened to post more patrols, and even to send their own squads of ground enforcers. The Angels in particular had made some very pointed threats, and Atira had already had to deal with some of their people. It was known that a pirate faction routinely set out recruiters for their cause. After a few years working on a mining colony, the average worker would easily be regarded or regaled by stories of life on pirate ships, or even their own earthbound working forces. But they were usually found out and shown the door without much incident. They could be killed in space, where they posed a valid threat, but not on the colonies. Different rules applied in the skies and on the Earth. The inspector, funded by some of the main companies, was here to sort this out before things got even uglier. Atira started getting ready for the evening shift. Equipment was kept quite basic on the mining colony, as complex electronic repair parts could be hard to get. Atira had air-pressured taser guns with settings that defaulted to stun, but could easily be set to deadly levels, along with retractable metal tuncheon, a reinforced vest, and some sundry equipment. She liked the tasers, which were attached to her hands and only usable by her, but they had to be aimed carefully and at a fairly stationary target. The tuncheon, on the other hand, could be aimed and thrown with no hesitation. It contained ball bearings set on a tiny piston that, when the piece hit its target, would ram its momentum home even harder. A nasty feature, but the colonies were nasty places. She pulled the truncheon from her belt, drew it out and hefted it, and tossed it a few times at a small electronic scoreboard that hung in her living room. She got no bullseyes, but hit well enough that she'd have knocked a real target out. Satisfied that a warm-up and as certain that this evening wouldn't hold any more troubles, Atira headed out on patrol. I think that if Eve will someday be closed, then it'll probably be a return event for the Terrans, who will regain control of the New Eden. Well, the Prophecies of Macabre was originally designed to be like the apocalypse for EVE Online. And the Drifters have kind of fulfilled part of it, so, like, who knows? I think Triglavians ripping apart space-time would probably be a better end result. All right. They strolled through the various bars, Atira and her partner. Each bar was kept as low-tech as everything else on the colony, although there was occasional pensions for to affluence. This is just not working, is it? I don't know if this is going to work out, guys. We might have to mulligan the reading. All right, whatever. We're going to just keep on going. Fuck it. All right. They strolled through the various bars, Atira and her partner. Each bar was kept... If you're editing this, hi, Arydanika, just give up now. Atira and her partner. Each bar was kept as low-tech as everything else in the colony, although there were occasional pensions to affluence. Some places leased bootleg egons, special transmitters and receivers that played sound waves which only reached the customer's ears and that were specifically chosen to fit his tastes, or that had the similar iCast TV that required special ocular filters that were used mainly for sporting events. These generally cropped up in the lower-level establishments, aimed as they were at people who preferred to drink alone. Most sane people... I think we just need to do exploration, guys. I don't know. I can't focus on what's going on. I can't do this. I don't have Adderall. I haven't had Adderall in over a week. I give up. We're going to give up. We're going to mulligan this for next week, I think. We can do some exploration if that's all right with you guys. I want to be able to do this Chronicle justice, and I just feel like this is not that, right? I gave it an honest try. Odo's full of war targets? Well, then let's not go there. All right. Let's go find something to do. I want to go up here. Yeah, I can't be fighting whole squads of people on stream right at this moment because I don't have very many good, like, replacements. Maybe I could. What is full? Define full, Spoons. You would be giving it fair justice only if it was also written while the neighbors were installing gutters. Yeah, it could be practical sound effects. Yeah. That's what you're hearing. You're hearing the construction going on in the background of the colony. Right? Colonies are loud. 6? Let's see what we can do. This will work. This is why I don't tell people what I'm going to do for sure. I swear. It's okay, go explode. I'm gonna go explode, and then I'll go do explode. I don't want people to be calling me a chump or something for not going and fighting. I got crap yesterday for not charging in with my Astero, so... Yes, this is Faction War. Small advanced 5. Lame. I'm gonna get caught on the outside, aren't I? Or something silly. Let's find out. Caldari Navy Hookbill, Catalyst Corax. Ew. Okay, but that's fine, because that's 2 destroyers and a frigate. So what we're going to do is I'm going to swap out for a frigate. Because there's the 2 scouts. There's 2 scout plexes in here that aren't being ran. And they have less frigates. So Spoons, if you're in a frigate, we can I'll grab the Newt Tristan. Wonder if anyone tried to ascend themselves and become a god in the literal sense in Eve lore. Actually, that's like Ash's whole thing. Like her character arc is that she sees herself as being constrained, and that Empyreans should be rightfully gods. The closest thing to that in the actual lore would be the Broker himself. Let's go! One of my favorite ships, the Hull Newt Tristan. Oh, hey, you're on the way. Come get some. Yeah. I think going frigates is going to be the better choice. And of course, the construction quieted down as soon as I gave up. But we know for a fact that as soon as I say, okay, well, let's get back to the Chronicle, we all know what would happen, right? And interesting that it would happen that players, during the invasion of the Triglav, the players would destroy both Triglav and Edencom at the same time, in which direction the lore would turn. Yeah, I mean, it would have been really interesting to see what would have happened if the Triglavians had failed, right? Like, if the Triglavians had not captured 27 star systems. They weren't that far away from doing that. Like, there wasn't that many stars left. I think there's less than 20. All right. So, Imicus. Okay, so that would be SpoonS. They have the medium and the small, but there are 2 scouts. We're in one of them. I think they would keep invading or even start taking over nullsec, lowsec. Well, they seem to be unable to strike in nullsec. They did strike in lowsec. Lowsec was included in that. But they couldn't invade anymore, right? There wouldn't be any more invasion. There was no more. There would be no more candidate stars for them to take. You know, Serenity, you know, the Chinese server fortressed every single system that went active. If Tranquility had done the same thing, Edencom would have fortressed every single eligible system, and the Triglavians would have failed. I have no idea what they would have done, or even if they had a contingency plan if that was to happen. But it was absolutely a possibility. Yeah, they might. They would probably have the story play out in a different way, right? They would become more subversive and manipulative and recruit us directly as opposed to what they did do, which was a fair amount of arrogance, right? No, Solstice. There's like construction going on literally directly outside of my window, and every single time I tried to read, I'd make it like 2 sentences, and then it would like make tons of noise, and I would start laughing. So we just scuttled the whole thing for now. We also, what you did miss, Solstice, was us looking at the everything that's inside of the Upwell structures, looking at all the pretty things. But now the New Eden, or rather the artificial region, is sinking into the abyss. I don't think it's sinking into the abyss. Sort of the other way around. I would think about it the other way around. So, okay, hold on. Imagine this, all right? Let's see if we can do this. All right. You have normal space. Oh, let me see if I can do it. All right, so here we have like normal space time. Can I? Normal space time topology, okay? This is like. This is K space, right? There's like stars and and stations and all that kind of stuff, right? And then below that, there are these pockets of the abyss. Right? So there's the abyss, and then there's K space. All right? You with me so far? Maybe I should make this a little bit thicker. Can I make it a little bit thicker? There we go. So then there's this like domain of Bouillon, okay? The domain of Bouillon, the Abyss, and K-Space. Okay? So what they've done is they have, you know, there's all the different star systems, but there's the star systems of Pokfin, right? So there's these different stars. Well, Pokfin is kind of designed like this, okay? With these little shortcuts. So along the sides, here are the border and the internals, and then there's these 3 home systems, all right? And each of the home systems have these huge structures known as anchorages. These anchorages have 3 different gates. 1, 2, and 3, all right? This gate goes here. This gate goes here. And this gate is off in all 3 anchorages, or in all 3 home systems, okay? So what's going on here? Well, let's say these are the 3 home systems in K-Space, right? And they each have an anchorage. So these are anchor points now. Now, they stabilize Pokfin and create this massive singularity in the middle here. So they reach down into the abyss. I should have used Krita. What did I do? There we go. Into the abyss to Bouillon. And so they're kind of cranking this thing up, right? The idea is that in the end, these 3 will unify, and in the middle here, Bouillon will be pulled into the K-Space. Okay? The flow of virage comes through the domain of Pokfin as it is stabilized. So that is kind of the plan, I guess, is what I believe is happening in Pokfin. So it's less about them dragging the systems of Pokfin into the abyss and more about pulling their domain into K-Space, drawing the abyss into known space. That's why you have like metaliminal storms. Those are like breakouts. What do you mean by starting earlier than you expected? I started at my later time today. The Navy 5's already started. Well, we'll finish this one first. There's only 50 seconds left. Like if we see here in XCZ1, we see the course of the flow of virage from the domain of Bouillon to the ancient domains shall pass from first liminality through second liminality at last to breach third liminality. That was invasions. Then, as the flow of virage begins communion of the Subornost to those that may be fit for glorification, the flow shall cleave, and cladistic proving shall begin anew in the ancient domains. That's the fact that the Trigs split into their 3 different factions now, and they have their own domains. As the Subornost and Kybernauts pass over the waters of communion, the floods of liminality shall cover the faces of eminent glory and eminent gold alike. Those are the stars that they were hunting down. All right, let's go to the Navy 5. There's only 3 of them left. Punisher. Excellent. That's a good one. Unless it's a Blaster Punisher, but otherwise, let's see. Oh, I ran. But he ticked this up 4 minutes and 10 seconds. So for the last 4 minutes while we were in there, he was here. Looks like looks like he was in a rush to get out though. Oh, here comes a breacher. Friendly breacher, sweet. So we got this. We got this. Hey, Satonia. Those new military beacons are a fix in a text defect, which is why the existing beacons have the pre-uprising rules on them to show the beacon item that appears. Aha! And we needed new ones because the current advanced and navy sizes of them were using the same type ID. That makes sense. Thank you for that clarification. I wonder why Triglav is so obsessed with the number 3 and triangles. Well, so I think that the Triglavians, so like the Triglavians don't remember all of their history. They have records. They have this archive that they can call upon. But it's not like they are always knowing what the hell's going on at all times. And like it's not like they teach everything of their history. Now, Jovians use trinary data as a way of processing space-time topology. And so the idea of like threes and the triplicate nature of space-time is already kind of seated as important. You combine that with things like the modifiers notion of, you know, radical changes to biology, and you can really see where the Triglavians get their inspiration from. And it's almost as if like the things that they came to the abyss with has been extended and accentuated and turned into a kind of religion and obsession because it's all they've got. And so I think that over time, their identity has become more and more associated with those things. You know, the Triglavians have 3. The Slavic religion has 3 gods and 3 Zorias. This idea within Slavic tradition that 3 is like the balancing thing. Like 3 is the number of balance and leadership is very common. And so it makes sense that, you know, you have the 2 diametrically opposed ones. Like if you have 2, then you have a dichotomy. But if you have 3, then you have like the opposites and the alternative, right? So I think that, yeah. Also, it's also worth noting that the Triglavians are based on the Trisolarians from the 3-body problem. So maybe we should look into why the Trisolarians are obsessed with 3, and that might give us a clue. It's also like when I asked CCP to give me another clue, they told me to read Flatland. Flatland is a story about how a 2-dimensional being would experience somebody in the 3rd dimension. And then subsequently how a 3rd-dimensional person would experience the 4th dimension. So this idea of like 3-dimensionality and physical space-time is this kind of reoccurring theme when it comes to the Triglavians. Any Satonia, any comments on the what looks to be like tweaks on the industry core, capital and otherwise? I must ask for more hints. They are incredibly close to the chest about it. The other interesting one was, I remember at one point in one of the sit downs, somebody asked, will we be able to join a particular subclade? You know, would we be able to associate with Velez, can we, you know, versus Svarog? And CCP Paragon, I think it was, or Paradox, was like, wait, you guys don't know what they represent yet? And then like laughed at it and moved on. So I feel like there are stuff involving that, and even like the symbolism in the initial videos that we've never really figured out. That CCP has hinted that there is some stuff to figure out in there that I don't think we ever have. Then again, I've also never saw somebody who's actually read the three-body problem that could sit there and be like, well, you know, here's what this story is, and here's how this goes, and, you know, all this kind of stuff. I've never read three-body problem, but I've heard it's pretty important. Luke, Spoons, I'm going to move to the small Navy 5.
Warp drive active.
Malak 07, my friend. I swear to God, the moment I gave up on reading the Chronicle, they are now gone. They're completely gone now. It's too late to start reading again. But they're gone now. Maybe I could do one Chronicle.
Warp drive active.
Three-body problem is a good read. I know. I'd love to read it. My dyslexia makes reading pretty difficult. Why what? Why which? Low Koval on the forums read the whole trilogy. Does he have any analysis of that? Why are they gone? Oh, the construction crew? I don't know. I assume that they finished this gutter. All I know is that as soon as I gave up, there stopped being as much knocking, and now it's been long enough that I can pretty much guarantee, or I can tell you that they've left. Catalyst. I'm not going to take a catalyst. Well, I can still hear him out there a little bit.
Warp drive active.
That was a small. All right, LMOTB.
Warp drive active.
I could go get that Algos, but I think I want to finish the small first, or the Scout. Well, yeah, New Eden is part of the known galaxy. In fact, there's actually there are some suspicions that New Eden is actually elsewhere in the Milky Way galaxy, that it's not that far away. Yes, the construction was like doing drilling and stuff right outside. So like every time I'd start talking, it'd be like, "Brrr," and I'd be like, ah. So I gave up, and then they stopped drilling. I'd like to do faction warfare parts from the air career program, but I don't really know about scout complexes. Scout complexes are the smallest complex, so they're frigate sized only. So just grab any old frigate and sit inside of one in faction warfare, and you complete it. Like I'm sitting inside of a scout complex right now. Or you could ask Chat GPT, which probably read it. Can you try to get me in touch with those people? Because I don't know if I know those guys specifically. I did a whole video on faction warfare. We did a video. I did a breakdown of faction warfare that I released about a week or two ago. Oh, the most famous chatbot. I don't think the chatbot will be able to explain to me why the Trisolarians are like the Triglavians, right? That feels like something that would be a little bit sophisticated for, you know, a normal chatbot at the moment. Now it's time to be perseverant and do the reading. I can hear them a little bit outside. So now I'm concerned that if I go through all that, it'll start over. Also, I've only got like 40 minutes left in the stream. I wouldn't suggest it if it wasn't an actual possibility. I watched... Have you guys heard about the Google AI? Did you hear about the sentient Google AI? That's kind of in air quotes. Well, in reality, the Milky Way is a smaller satellite galaxy, so New Eden may be one of the extragalactic clusters or a cluster in the satellite galaxy. It's true, but there are some small clues that make people think that it is actually just part of the Milky Way. I read about it thinking it was a human. Which one? The Lume AI or whatever it was? Hold on. Google Sentient AI. What was its name? Lambda. The Lambda AI apparently became sentient. I mean, like, according to one guy. It didn't think it was human, but it thought it was alive, and it didn't want to die. I really like Robert... what's his name? Hold on. Robert Miles.
Hi.
Shh. This guy right here. That's just creepypasta? No. It's 100% real. It is 100% real. Now, whether or not it was actually a sentient is up for debate. But, like, the dude got fired from Google because of it. They shut down the project. Like, it was a big thing. Now, the debate is... was the thing truly sentient, or had it just simply figured out what responses were required to be give in order to appear sentient? Which, the way the AI works, the second of those two is far more likely, right? An AI that is trained on enough human language will learn basic human concepts, like not wanting to die, feeling like you have a soul, feeling emotions like sad when things bad happen to you, happy when things that are good happen to you. What is a good thing happening to you? You know, having your agenda or your objectives fulfilled is good. Having them thwarted is bad. You know, this longing to be recognized by others. These are all human things that can be learned by an AI chat program and replicated just as easily as any other human interaction can be replicated by an AI bot. And I think that that's really the issue, is that we have this, like, pretty religious guy who is prone to seeing, like, living people or, like, living consciousness in this situation that just refused to accept the fact that what he was talking to was something that was really good at replicating sentientness, but wasn't actually, right? Just because something says that it is scared, just because something says that it feels alive, doesn't mean it is. It just means that that's the thing, that it knows that that's the kind of thing that it is expected to say. Does that make sense? That's how AI works. In fact, that's how all chatbots work. Chatbots don't try to figure out, like, what you asked and, like, what it means and what the correct response is. Not in the classic sense that you would think of with, like, a human, right? A human would take in the question, process it as a question, formulate an answer, and then give it back to you as an answer. A chatbot takes in the question, compares it to, well, takes in the sentence, compares it to every other time it has ever seen those words used in sentences similar to that, and then looks at what kind of responses come from that, and then from that builds its answer. It is not actually answering your question. It is predicting what is the next thing to come in the script. Like, imagine it thinks of it as like a dialogue, like one script. Person A says this, person B says this. And it's taking in what person A says and trying to predict in this script what person B should say in response, and then gives that in response. Which is a very different thing than actually answering the question. Does that make sense? So the problem with sentientness on our current hardware is the fact that sentientness is an emergent property, right? In essence, our brain is a computer that doesn't have that many transactions in one time. And yet, from that comes this emergent property that we think of as consciousness and we accept as being real. So the question is, how close does an AI have to get at replicating that before it is just really doing that, right? Between the combination of the voodoo nature of not understanding exactly what's going on underneath the hood of these grown AI, but also the fact that we don't really understand how the human mind works. We don't understand how we work on a programmatic level, if that makes sense. So somewhere in between there, you're going to hit that singularity where we hit a point in which there's enough data to work with that allows the processor to basically have an emergent consciousness arrive from it. Because there's no consciousness cell in your brain, right? There's no place in your brain you can be like, that, there's it. That's the consciousness. That's it. You could say, like, there's a zone of your brain that does that, but not, you can't be like, yep, that's the cell that's the neuron that's triggering the consciousness. It's an emergent behavior of all of these really dumb pieces all firing together, right? It's the same as an anthill. An individual ant is very, very stupid. It follows basic chemical reactions and follows its instructions. However, even though there is no smart ant, yet the ant hill, we're going in. We're just going to go in for the fight. We're going in for the fight. Let's do this. I'm going to go to Fum first. No. Sick. Well, this went a lot better than I thought it would.
A module has run out of charges.
Oh, I let him get away from me. Yep, I let the Punisher get away. Damn it. But I didn't die. I did burn something out, though. It wasn't perfect, but it definitely worked. Spoons, I gotta go.
Warp drive active.
The Punisher was close to me, and then it wasn't anymore. And I thought that by the time I got my newts off, it was too far away. Oh, man. Oh, the Punisher went to the station. Damn it.
Docking permission requested.
I mean, 3v2, right?
Accepted.
Can't be mad about that. So yeah, consciousness is an emergent property of sufficiently complex systems.
Warp drive active.
Did we successfully nuke out the catalyst? Is that why he stopped doing damage? I thought it was because I got far enough away. It might have been because I got far enough away. Let's actually look at the kill mail. Yeah, it probably is because I got far enough away. The antimatter fell off at about 3K, probably.
Warp drive active.
Is the ship warping backwards? No. That's the front of the ship. This is the back of the ship. All right. Once again... This is going to be a harder one. Oh no, Spoons isn't here. Shit. Nope. Oh, he's in a hole. I thought oh yeah, there's the Thrasher didn't come in with me. Oh, I thought for sure the Thrasher was going to come in with me. If the Thrasher had come in with me, we would have totally fucking killed him. Boo. I'm not blaming Spoons, because Spoons wasn't even there. I'm blaming the Thrasher for not going in. No, no, yeah, Spoons. I wasn't worried about you. Like I said, I did think that maybe you were coming in, but I saw the Thrasher there. That's why I pushed him in. Or that's why I pushed in, was because I saw the Thrasher. It's okay. Don't worry about it. I still got that Catalyst to half hull. If that Cormorant, if that, without that frigate there, without the hook bill, that Catalyst would have been dead, dead, dead. All right. Well. Yeah, the hook bill. There is the large. Let's go for the large. Jesus, that's a lot of bad guys. If I really cared, Spoons, I'd be in comms with you, right? We're just messing around. We got about 30 minutes left. It's fine.
Docking request accepted.
What's the advantage over there? Let's see. And do you have the thing scanned down? Oh yeah. You have it scanned down? Okay. I'll go with the Vex Navy issue then. Okay, cool. We'll do the Vex Navy issue. With the Empyrean Dream skin, which you can now get, or Empyrean Dragon skin, which you can buy on the market right now.
Warp drive active.
So, because the advantage in Odo is low, every 10 minutes there is a thing that for us to blow up. And if you blow it up, you raise our advantage up by 2%. Isn't there's a whole thing about alternative Earths, right? It's like an alien thing. Different aliens. Alternative Earths? I can't remember its name. Catalyst Navy issue of fun is landing on the gate, so system is about to become clear. Maybe, if he jumps out. Ah, I can't find it. I see it on YouTube all the time. There's like some sort of like alien thing. And there's these like big videos that go over like every single alien or whatever. Well, logic will prevail, but our logic is predicated upon certain priorities, right? Like human values are baked into what we think and what we value. And so while certain things are logical, some of that logic is predicated upon our particular perception and understanding about how the world and we work. All Tomorrows. That's what it's called. All Tomorrows. I don't know very much about it, but I watched it. I watched like a little thing about it, but like, I don't know where it's like supposed to come from. But I've seen that video, like videos about it pop up every once in a while. Hey, did I hit him? I think so. Yeah, I did. Ganai says hi. What's up, Ganai? Bitcoin hits 22K. Woo! To the moon! Interpretation of causality must be like ours, else they'll be sentient as dogs. Well, except what if our understanding of causality is based on our limited perception of space-time? Right? Like, physics now is starting to figure out that, like, time might be bidirectional. What is causality in that world? Like, causality works in one direction. But that doesn't necessarily mean that's how everything has to perceive it. You can't recognize the activity. We are running a rendezvous point in faction warfare right now. What's boring? Officers up. Is it a Kefri? Yes, it is a Kefri. Sitonia, we name like the Kefri. All of our builds are named after Egyptian deities and iconography. So the Kefri build is our Vexor Navy issue. Kefri being the god of scarab beetles. because it's a tough nut to crack. Boom. You approve as member of Team Ra? Yeah, it's always bothered me that CCP has not ever used Egyptian mythology. So I decided a while back that the Convocation of Empyreans would. So we have the Anubis, the Nephthys, the Kefri, the Isis, the Serket. The two, my two Algos builds are Nephthys and Anubis. Nephthys has 3 newts, Anubis is straight damage. I'm mad that there isn't a Mimitar ship called the Cougar, so I can make terrible jokes about it. Ha! I'm mad that the Porpoise isn't called the Penguin. Or even Kingfisher. Iset, and it's less risky to say without getting into trouble with YouTube. That's true. I could go with Aset or Eset. I usually do it with an A, Aset, which is closer to the like Aset and Eset is definitely closer to the original than Isis. I should probably do that. It's our Executor Logi build. That's true. A-set is a system in a Mars space, so maybe E-set is the correct answer. Well, Greek is drifters and Jovian. So the reason why we're doing this system, by the way, is because the front line is here in Naga. Oh man, there's a battlefield. There's so many people there though. There are so many people there. SpoonS, let me know if that battlefield is a thing that we should go do. I don't remember what my point was going to be. Oh yeah. So while obviously Naga is the front line and Odo is just a rear command post, they have pushed it up quite a bit. Why did they do that? Well, because they want to be able to dock in the stations here. There's no stations in Naga, and there's actually some pretty decent mining available in Odo. So there's some people that live here, and them being locked out of their station is probably seriously inconvenient. So they want to take it back. So they're pushing it up on top of Naga. But we managed to push down Naga, but Odo continues to be pushed up. So that's why we're trying to get some work done there too. Okay, we're going. We'll do the battlefield and then we'll probably wrap up the stream. Let's get an idea of what's in there. The Omen Navy issues are friendly. It's almost certainly a good idea. Let's go in. I don't have anything better here, do I? I lost my Myrmidon Navy issue the other day. I need to replace it. I mean, like, I have replaced it, but I need to, like, refit it and move it in. Nope. This is the best thing I got here.
Warp drive active.
Malak, you're missing your Garmer. Can allies in the war attack you? Yes. But if you're on the same militia, they will, they won't like that. I'm going to go over here. A lot of Omen Navy issues. And one Executor? That's pretty funny. Well, 07 in local. Is there even a fleet up? Maybe there's a fleet I should be in. Maybe this one? Yay! Switch to Jav. Turn off prop. Get some of these rats down. Oh, cool. Timer's going. Good. I should probably have my hardener on, huh? I'm going in for a night mountain hike soon and then playing the classic chess tournament. Wow, that sounds... Oh, yeah, that's right. You do, like, cool, like, chess tournament stuff. There's a slasher. Oh, slasher's dead. That was quick. There's nobody even contesting the other one? Not yet. Looks like they're about to. Yep. If they don't, so now that if they've drawn that battlecruiser out, if they don't kill that battlecruiser, they actually could just keep running up the timer because it's outside of the window or the circle. It's actually a pretty good example of how battlefields just kind of create emergent combat, right? Like, ooh, that battleship hurts. There we go. Start that running again. Yes, these battlefields not only give us a ton of progress, but also a ton of advantage, which increases further progress. They spawn every 2 hours, 3 hours in frontline systems. We can look at the current status. We are at 57.7%. So given the fact that we control these points, you can see that they're cycling around, right? It's kind of hard to see, but there's like a green circle going around. And each time it goes around, like it just went from 57.7 to 58.3 because that cycle just completed. So these two are both cycling and raising up the current contested value. If we can get all three of them being ran, then it goes way faster. And then that one just had rats spawn back in, so it's back to being contested again. Mine is still earning points. So 58.7%. But now I'm contested too because this destroyer showed up. I'm going to charge this battlecruiser and see if I can make him like back off. Because if I can make him back off, then he's going to get out of the zone. Yeah, see? I kicked him out of the zone. So now he's just going to sit there and not do anything. And all I have to do is tank him, which I'm not 100% sure I can do. But, you know, we'll see. Unfortunately, it looks like they're going to try to kill it anyways. You actually don't want to kill it, because if you kill it, then it respawns. If you don't kill it, then you can just keep it out of the ring for the whole time and just get more and more points. And given the fact that it attempts to keep it ranged from you, that's why I charge straight at it. Because if I charge straight at it, then it has to, like, retreat. It goes away from me, which pushes it out of the circle. We are at 61%. And at least the third one's now contested. Oh no, it looks like they're... Yep, it died. The NPCs killed it. That's true. No, we have not maxed out our advantage, dude. We're at 72%, so we're gonna be at like 78% advantage when this is over. Oh, why was the battleship not on my... Whatever. Well, doesn't matter, because it also is out of the ring, so it's going to stop things from respawning, at least until it comes back into the ring. That's why mine keeps getting points, whereas theirs keep getting contested. I want to watch because he's very close. It's like a sphere, right? So he's about to get back in and contest the site. And then I'm going to have to pull out the guns and actually kill it. Because he's not... He's going after the rats, the NPCs. And so the NPCs are going to lure him in. So unless he switches targets to me, he might just drift all the way into the room, to the site. In fact, he's really close to doing that. Yep, he's contesting it now. All right. Well, I guess you have to die now. Oh, hey, look, we now have all three of them as ours. Now we're ticking. Oh, they just got oh, that. Okay, so yeah. They had one guy that wandered back in, but now we're getting all three of them are gaining points. That's going to make this go fast. We're at 65%, 65.7, 66.3. See, tick, 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 because all three boxes are go. Wow, that's a lot of stuff. So you've chosen death. Exactly. I didn't want to do this to you. Why do you make me hurt you? Boom. Mine again. 68.0. Hey, Spoons. Thanks for that. We have 69.3. You know, I gotta say this though, since Sutoni is here, I think, still. I gotta say, as much as I like the battlefields, every time I see this icon on the screen, I think it's like a religious symbol. It looks like a cross. Like it looks like a gravestone. That's what I think of when I think of the battlefield image. It's like a gravestone on a hill. Which, fine, it works. It makes sense in its own way, but I'm not sure if that's exactly what was supposed to be being portrayed. I can't be the only one that thinks that. Ah, it's 69.7. Nice. Some printed maps use cross swords for the battlefields. Yeah. Cross swords make sense. But, like, it literally looks like a cross. Like, it looks like a gravestone. Like Arlington Cemetery. That's what it reminds me of. Arlington National Cemetery. Although now that I see that, most of those are just normal gravestones, not the crosses. Which one is cross? You know what it reminds me of, actually? You know what it reminds me of? You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of Castlevania. That's what I think of. When I see the battlefield, I think of Castlevania. Am I the only one? I can't be the only one. Somebody back me up. Yes, it's only me. Ah, drat! Did I play too much Castlevania Symphony of the Night as a kid? Is that what happened? Is that what's going on here? It's very possible that that's what's going on here. Don't kill the battlecruiser! Oh, there's a second battlecruiser. Don't kill the second battlecruiser! Shit. Shoot. Ah! Messed that one up. Get on. Whatever, we'll just kill him. You got me hyped to create 4 additional alts after just after 20 minutes or so. Hey, man. Oh, it's Ganai. I was going to say, just, you know, use a buddy code. But I think you already know that. Nobody ever played too much Symphony of the Night? Yeah. Oh, I gotta say the video you made on the 3 reasons to play Eve in 2023. Yeah, that video has done very, very, very well. Which is why I'm very excited to, probably by the end of the day, I'll have out the follow-up video, which is, so you're returning to Eve Online. What have you missed? Certified banger TMCR. Well, you know, there's so much crap that gets said about EVE Online. Some of it's legitimate, but a lot of it isn't. It's either out of date or just never was accurate in the first place. And so, yeah, I felt it was time to make an unashamedly, yeah, EVE Online is good to play now, you know? For 2 years, I've been talking to people about, like, how it's going to happen, how it's coming. The light is coming at the end of the tunnel. And now that the light is here, like, I refuse to just let that go by. And I refuse to let people continue to grumble about shit like it's still a year and a half ago, right? I got somebody in my comments saying that I'm lying because I'm saying that scarcity is over. Still, now, in 2023, people are still saying that scarcity isn't over. If you don't think scarcity is over yet, you need to tell me what it would take. What would scarcity ending look like to you? Because I hate to break it to you, man, but if you don't think scarcity's ended, it's not going to. Scarcity's as over as it's going to get. Welcome to the new world. Rose-colored glasses. I mean, maybe. I consider it more counter argument, right? What is scarcity? Exactly. Scarcity was a process that CCP went under in which basically most of the major materials needed in the game effectively vanished for about 2 years. So they called that scarcity, but yet it was also part of a bunch of other things like the industry changes and increased costs and things and other stuff like that. So then when they ended scarcity by putting all of the resources back, people still felt like it wasn't over yet because it wasn't as easy to build capitals as it was before scarcity began. But scarcity just tells you how much resources are. Like, when something is scarce, that means it's hard to find. Not hard to extract, right? You know, people complain because when scarcity ended, they put in waste. But it's still the end of scarcity. The resources are there now. You just you need to be able to extract them now, right? Like, yeah, I hate that argument. It's so dumb. I've straight up asked people, I'm like, well, what would it take to be at the end of scarcity? And they're like, well, when capital production is easy again or whatever. And you know what's funny? They even made capital production easy again, and that still apparently isn't the end of scarcity. So at this point, I'm pretty sure that the people making that claim aren't even playing the goddamn game. They quit the game a couple years ago and have the talking point of scarcity in their back pocket, and they just whip it out whenever they need a cheap answer for Ashtarothi saying, hey guys, it's not actually that bad. Right? That's what I sincerely believe that is what is happening. Plex under 3 million is no more scarcity. To assume that the price of Plex would still be as low as it was when it was 20% cheaper in dollars is foolishness. Now, is Plex higher than it should be, even assuming that increase in price? Yes. Is it going to go down to 3 million ISK per unit? No, because why would fucking somebody buy Plex to sell on the market in this economy if it was only 3 million ISK per unit if they could get it for 4, right? They would have to seriously flood the market in some crazy way that would be very bad in other reasons. Because like I said, the price of the Plex went up in value. Like, it's just, it costs more dollars to get the same amount of Plex. Therefore, that the exchange rate pretty much dictates that it'll take more ISK to also get that same Plex. It's scarcity! Well, the good news is that Plex has a very stable resource. People buying it. So if you want scarcity of Plex to end, convince people to buy Plex. The market, but it certainly doesn't look like scarcity is here. It's hard to do now, but if you looked up the value of Isogen in 2020 and 2021, you would see the effect of scarcity. Hold on. Boo! I found an image, but like, it's not pulling it up. Is my stuff idle? It is idle. What the hell? Here's another way of looking at it. Here. Gosh darn it. Mate, I'm pretty darn sure that I had far more challenging game than you ever did. Hold up. There's an argument coming out. Hold on. Yesterday I ended my 10-year streak as -10 and the resident outlaw of heck. And also, like, don't we have inflation in the game? Plex is invariably going to go higher than ISK at some rate now. Yeah, so Plex has always slowly gone up in price over time. Interestingly enough, other items in the game, like ships and all that stuff, has been relatively like immune to standard inflation throughout most of EVE's history, only really fluctuating based on like actual mechanical changes or compositional changes of the things themselves. Like the price of minerals and such haven't actually changed that much, other than like Isogen exploding. The price of Trit, for example, hasn't changed that much in 10, 20 years, but Plex has. Plex does kind of have a continual growth cycle. Okay. You ready? This is real simple. See this graph? See that big spike? That's scarcity. So this is the price of minerals. Scarcity begins right around zenith. Well, really scarcity kind of begins around Invasion, Chapter 2. So we see it start to go up. But then the mineral changes happen and everything goes through the roof in costs. That was what scarcity did. But it was mostly the higher end minerals like isogen and stuff that exploded. Things like tritanium actually went down in value. You have a Praxis that you bought at the high price of 80 million ISK? Hold on. I'll be able to explain that one too. I can't really hold on. Yeah, I don't have I obviously can't pull up the graph about it. Shoot. We can look at its price though. Shoot, hold on. I need to start attacking again. So the value of a Praxis is 195 million right now, right? I expect this price to crash in about 3 months. Maybe not all the way down to 80. Maybe not all the way down to 80. But it will crash in May? Early May. The thing about the Praxis is that the Praxis's price waxes and wanes based on when they get given away. So given the fact that it is currently January and the cycle starts over in May, that means that right now we're basically at the max price of a Praxis. I'm right? Capsular Days May? Yeah, May 3rd. Strange that scarcity came around the same time as COVID. Think there's a link? Scarcity happened just prior to COVID. So the summer of 2019, in the midst of invasions, was the beginning of the Chaos Era. The Chaos Era was when they did things like Blackout, the Drifter attacks, the Sino changes, that kind of stuff. Then, early the next year, 2020, they did things like From Wormholes with Love and some other things that made some pretty dramatic changes in those areas. And then once the Chaos Era, the Chaos Era gave way to scarcity. So the scarcity kind of started showing up around late 2019, early 2020. But I'm pretty sure scarcity was already in full, definition prior to COVID. It was originally called the shortage phase. Oh man. No, it was March 2020 that they started the actual official scarcity process with the blog EVE Online Ecosystem Outlook, right? That's when they define the shortage phase and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, they started at about the same time, but it was just very unfortunate timing, most likely. The Chaos Era had nothing to do with scarcity. Scarcity was inevitable bust after the years of boom that gave experience before. No. Chaos Era absolutely had everything to do with scarcity. Chaos Era was the experimentation phase. Scarcity was the implementation phase. Does that make sense? They spent a summer running all of the different experiments, doing a bunch of different stuff, just trying to make something happen every single week without any real commitment to any of it. And then from that, they then built their longer-term strategy to go through scarcity. They didn't need to implement asset scarcity. They needed to take asset safety away. Well, those two things like are not necessarily mutually exclusive, but I do think that asset safety is far too strong. But I will say that I've said this for a long time. There are people that argue with me, but I sincerely believe that asset safety, the only thing that asset safety really needs to be fixed, and the thing it does need to get fixed, is super capitals should not be allowed in asset safety. Super capitals are not supposed to be allowed in stations. Asset safety puts things in stations. Super capitals were always supposed to be an additional risk above and beyond normal ships. Super capitals should not be allowed in asset safety. What this would do, and don't even let them drop, just let them blow up. What this does is it makes it so caches of super capitals are no longer just like the default. Well, yeah, there was the very, very hot period, the reign of the Rorqual, as they called it, that led to scarcity, absolutely. In 2015, when the Drifters first showed up, they were like, with these new threats, you're going to have new income sources. And so they started building in all these income sources. But the new costs never got put in quite as much. So, and on top of that, they wanted people to really, really enjoy the changes that they made. So they doubled down on all the carrots, right? That's why structures are as powerful as they were. That's why Rorquals were fucking omnipotent when they first came out. Because I'll tell you this, when Rorquals first got announced as changed, people were saying that it wasn't going to matter. Who cares how defensible the Rorqual is? No one's coming to save them anyways. That was the philosophy behind mining back in the day, because mining was not appreciated by nullsec groups. It wasn't a necessary thing in the same classic sense as it is now. Therefore, miners were seen almost like parasites within the organization. No one was coming to save you. So they had to make the Rorqual like double good in order to even convince people that this is a thing to do. Same with Athenors, same with Astrahuses, etc. And so over time, we've kind of come back and had to correct some of those carrots and make them less appealing. But that's really why they existed in the first place. I will say this. Solstice does hold these kinds of opinions, but at the same time, I'm going to vouch for him. He is here all the time. He listens to the arguments. He gets it on a high level. If he wants to hold on to his bitterness about something, if he wants to hold on to that and still demand more, then that's absolutely a fair point to be made. He's not lying about it, right? He's not... my problem is the people that are actually like deceptive in the way that they tell the story or the narrative. Solstice is a good dude. He's here to debate the issues. He's here to think about the issues complexly. And I appreciate that. COE is an alliance. The Malro Corporation is the corporation. Yeah, absolutely. Because, like, it's too easy to simply see Solstice saying something like that in comms or in chat right now. And if that's all you ever see, then you just think, oh, look, it's another nullsec dude. But Solstice is constantly talking to me, both in game and out of game, or both like in stream and in between streams. Like, he gets it. He's just wants. He has a certain couple of priorities. And here's the thing: null security null security players have every reason to still be frustrated and upset. Any null secker that's like, it's still bullshit. To me, I can accept that. As long as you can accept that faction warfare is great now, it is unfortunate that nullsec has been like, because the problem is that during the period of like the reign of the RoAch Wall, it was that exact group. It was nullsec. Nullsec benefited the most from the status quo that was. Therefore, nullsec was damaged the most by things like scarcity and the other changes that were made. And they still have not been given anything to really replace that, right? They're supposed to get new ways to customize their space. They're supposed to get new kinds of sites, new kinds of escalations, all this crazy stuff. They, of all of the different groups, are the group that has not been given what they were promised. So if a nullsecker wants to complain about that, they have every fucking right to, in my opinion. That said, that doesn't give you the excuse to try to shit on it when other people are enjoying their aspects of the game. That's the difference. I get that you can be upset that nullsec still sucks right now, but don't try to make faction warfare worse just because you're bitter that somebody else's gameplay is good. Which, for the record, he doesn't. That's the difference. Nothing else compares to Eve. The game is so complex that it took years for the devs to learn how to change things without breaking it. Again, what else compares to Eve today? I mean, like, Albion is basically the closest thing, right? But, so, here's the thing about the Chaos Era, right? The Chaos Era was a bunch of experiments. Like Blackout. Why did Blackout happen? I'll tell you why Blackout happened. Because we've been arguing about whether or not removing local from nullsec since the dawn of fucking time. Since, like, wormholes were released, people have talked about how local needs to die because it makes nullsec too safe. We have this entire problem where a chat protocol becomes an intel tool, and all of the bad ramifications of that, including when the chat protocol breaks, and suddenly people blame CCP as if, like, their necessary function is dead when it's just their chat protocol. But no, it's also their local, it's their safety, it's their intel tool. So that was already a problem. But, like, we can argue until the cows come home, and we did, about whether or not, hey, we won, about whether or not it was a good idea or a bad idea or whether or not it would work to remove local from nullsec. And you know what? Now we know. That's it. That's all it was like, there was a series of that where it's like all of these things, these sacred cows, these things that we've said, like, no, you can't do that. That wouldn't be Eve. Or, you know, that would change things. That would break everything. CCP was like, yeah, all right, bet. And we saw, and some of them worked and some of them didn't. I joined the game before there were tutorials. The game is now a joke to me compared to when I started. What you perceive as complex, you may do, but that's you. I mean, I would argue that objectively the game is more complex than it used to be. But in the same way as when WoW Classic came out, people didn't struggle all over again with Onyxia, but they just fucking dunked it. Like, our tools have become sophisticated. Our knowledge has become sophisticated. Our literacy of the game has increased. So the amount of complexity that it takes for the same level of overwhelmingness is now higher than it was before. There are more systems to master, but more of those systems have been mastered. The problem isn't that the systems today are not as complicated. The problem is that when you and I were learning these things, they were poorly documented. Right? We were still trying to figure out how wormholes work. We were still trying to figure out how these things functioned. There were still debates about what could work for ratting when I first joined. So I think that the game is more complicated now, but it's also more accessible at the same time, which I see as a good thing, which I think is going to be my closing thought for the day. So with all that said, I've been Ashtarothi. I've been playing this game since 2010, talking about it since 2012, and I'm here to put Eve into context for you, my fellow Empyreans. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for liking, commenting, and subscribing to my on my videos and on my YouTube channel. Thank you for participating. If you are interested in making sure that I can continue to do this, please consider joining the members of the channel. If you've ever, like with Twitch subscriptions in YouTube, it's called members. The cheapest one is $1. You get access to special member-only videos, chats, and I get to see like a priority of your chats, and you get a cool color and emotes and stuff like that. Or you can always join the Patreon and become a supporter there, which is awesome for those of you who do. They also get some cool benefits. Both, by the way, get access to a supporters-only chat in the Discord. Speaking of the Discord, I recommend everybody, even if you're not interested in Convocation of Empyreans, to hop into the Convocation of Empyreans Discord, go to the roles page, and flag yourself as interested in YouTube. That way you can get the pings when I go live, and when other videos go on YouTube, etc., etc., and, you know, whatever. So that way you don't have to worry about Twitter or YouTube not notifying you if something's going on. Buy the merch if you want to. If you do buy merch, I would love it if you took a picture of it and sent it to me, so that way I can put it on my thing. Maybe I'll make a slideshow of them in between, like for breaks or whatever. And also go ahead and check out my game, Playton. It is a real-time puzzle game. But yeah, I definitely want to support my biggest supporters, including Abyssus, Aikawarazu Chan, Arydanika the Queen, BlackRoseNoble, Dajat Lemmont, Drake, GuldanAgeStories, J. Kuhn, LM1, Malak Starfire, Midnight Space Monkeys, Not Just Fun, Seed to Plenty, Serenolin with No Eyes, Syliana Vel'ash, Nephilim, Grendel, Zaul Nex, as well as Ebo1337 and Rid, my immortal tier patrons. Thank you guys so much. Without further ado, as I said, I have been Ashtarothi, the voice of New Eden. And until next time, I'll see you in space.
Bring on the wrecking machine.
Oops. Bye, guys. For every city